Now at 4, the State Budget Committee considers toll road hikes if the Bears come to Indiana. That's a big if.
And we're also looking at temperatures staying mild for now, but there is a pattern change on the way. What that means for your weekend forecast.
And a local senior citizen center is fighting to keep a roof over its head. We'll tell you where and why, as well as their message to the community.
Good afternoon. We're glad you're here with us at 4 o'clock. I'm Dustin Grove.
And I'm Felicia Lawrence. So we start with new details in the state's effort to bring the Chicago Bears to Indiana.
Part of that effort now includes higher tolls for drivers. It could anyway. A new deal involving the Indiana Toll Road could generate hundreds of millions of dollars to build up the area surrounding a new stadium. Rich Nye is at the State House for us this afternoon, where the State Budget Committee is meeting right now to review these proposed toll increases. Hey, Rich.
And those toll road increases are one of the last items on the agenda for the State Budget Committee today, which has been meeting since 1 o'clock, just over my shoulder across the hallway here on the 4th floor of the Indiana State House. And we have not reached that agenda item just yet. Now, the Indiana Toll Road is operated privately through a lease. And the Indiana Finance Authority has now approved a resolution that would allow the operator of the toll road to increase the toll twice a year. The toll would go up by at least 1.5%, and it could be greater depending on inflation. Right now, the toll can go up at least 2%, but only once a year. Now, these toll road increases are intended to help finance road and infrastructure improvements to help pay for a proposed stadium in Hammond for the Chicago Bears. The toll would raise $700 million to be paid to the state for those purposes. But here's the big but. Even if the Bears don't come to Indiana, the tolls keep increasing. And that has Democrats asking why.
Well, if I were driving a car or a truck up there and I supported the Bears idea, I'd be pretty disappointed if I had to keep paying more money and I didn't get the Bears. So I think it's a very interesting position we're in. I think we're reaching into this kitty jar called the toll road and grabbing some money out rather than having a coherent tax strategy in this state. We don't have a coherent tax strategy, and this is one of the consequences.
Now, if the Bears stay in Illinois, that $700 million could be used for road and infrastructure improvements in one of 7 northern Indiana counties, but the the toll increases would keep coming. This deal also requires the operators of the Indiana Toll Road to spend $25 million on toll road improvements. Again, this is waiting to be heard in front of the State Budget Committee, which is still meeting this afternoon, and what has been a sometimes contentious meeting on other topics today, hence the long meeting, and while we're still waiting for them to take up this issue. Dustin and Felicia.
Okay, we can understand a lot of emotions tied to money at the State House. Rich and I, thank you.
Look forward to his next report at 5, see what's progressed since then. Happening right now, Indiana's Attorney General is talking about his plans to enforce the state's new Fairness Act. That is a law that allows the AG's office to penalize employers who knowingly recruit or hire people who are here illegally. Todd Rokita spoke moments ago along with a representative from the local carpenters union. Take a listen.
We do expect whatever kind of operation you run to have it be run fairly, and that means that you hire Hoosiers. You at least hire U.S. citizens, and you do not try to exploit cheap labor from people who shouldn't be here in the first place.
To all of the folks out there that are making more than their fair share by cutting corners, by going after and exploiting workers, not paying federal overtime, I would just say this to you. It's wrong, and it's going to be noticed.
So beginning July 1st, the AG's office says construction workers will see them on site to enforce this new state law. Our State House reporter Emily Longnecker is on this story today. She was there for that news conference. She's going to have more on how this is going to work, what the penalties would be for companies that violate the law. It's all coming up at 5.
A man is now formally charged for a shooting involving IMPD officers last week. This happened last Wednesday. IMPD was responding to a person shot on Sumner Avenue While officers administered aid to that person, police say they were shot at from the window of a house across the street. Now, officers did fire back. Police found the suspect, Joel Rector, shot in the home. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Now, Rector is charged with 1 count of battery by means of a deadly weapon. No officers were hurt in the shooting.
All right, to the weather impact now on this Thursday afternoon. Taking a live look outside. It's a nice spring day out there.
I love it.
Sunshine, a little breezy.
It's so beautiful.
It is
It is
very
a
nice.
wonderful day.
Yeah.
It's comfortable, which
Yes.
is nice because we know summer's on the way. It'll
Yeah.
be really hot. Winter was here. It was really cold. These
But
are
this
the
is
few
just
days.
right.
Yeah, these
It
are the
is.
few days
Thank you,
in between
Goldilocks.
that work.
Yeah, it's a little bit cooler than where it has been the last few days. We were in the 80s the last few days. We're only in the mid 70s now. But we've been kind of spoiled by this warmer weather. Average high temperature this time of year is in the mid 60s. So we are talking about temperatures that are 10, 15, and sometimes 20 degrees above the average. This is unusually warm. I'm a bit of a gardener, and I know some of you are as well. Everything is early. Anne Marie and I were talking about it. Everything seems to be about 2-3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks ahead of schedule. I've got irises that are about to bloom. It's April, mid-April, by the way. Shouldn't be happening. We do have a couple of showers and storms we've been tracking to the north. There are some of these that are including a little bit of lightning and some heavy downpours. Nothing like what we saw earlier this week, but we are going to keep our eye on that. Farther to the south and west, there are some stronger storms. We'll watch these, but the severe threat is going to be confined to staying away from Indiana. So this is good news. We're expecting a pretty quiet next few hours. Temperatures will move out of those 70s and then ease through the 60s for tonight. Once we get into the overnight, we may drop into the 50s, but it should be a relatively mild night with temperatures in the mid 50s for the most part for our overnight lows, although upper 50s could be possible for a few locations, especially into the city. Now looking ahead to tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be another summer-like day almost. Temperatures going to go back into the low to mid 80s. We are expecting some sunshine early, some clouds building during the afternoon, but for the most part, I think the rain chances are going to stay on the smaller side with high temperatures in the mid 80s. Bit of humidity in the air. We'll talk about when we do see some rain chances arrive. I do have some in the weekend forecast, but timing is everything. I'll cover that for you coming up.
Rob, thank you. Well, a decades-old senior center is in a battle for survival after learning they need to replace the roof.
The Mooresville Senior Citizen Center is a second home for hundreds of people in Morgan County. To keep the roof over their head, they need as much as $60,000. Money they say they just don't have. Ella Rhodes is on this story for us this afternoon. So what'd you find out?
Yeah, like you said, a lot of people call this their second home, and it's just what they need to do to get this roof fixed that is so important. So they're really just depending on the community to help them out and help them with the fundraising. It just started with a small leak, really, and that's the tip of the iceberg. When the leak got inspected, that's when they learned the entire roof could blow over in the next storm. So they really just need an entirely new one. So the center opened in the late 70s. Now a community landmark, really. The center's executive director, Christina Corona, says it's still safe inside, but they do not want to have to pause their services, so they need the repairs to happen as soon as possible. From free lunch, exercise classes, trips, crafts, and card games, the center provides seniors with community. But Corona says it's not all about fun and games. This place helps seniors' mental well-being and gives them purpose. Corona worries with unexpected Indiana weather, they don't have enough time to find the money and make the repairs.
We definitely need to survive. I mean, there's too many people that come here every day. Some people come once a week, and some come from other cities, and some come every single day. And we're here for all of it, every single one of them.
Corona says every community needs a place like this for their seniors, and she's committed to keep Mooresville's around for as long as possible.
Yeah, we all know how important community is.
Yeah, of course. And the center also just received a big donation actually for the roof, $10,000, but you know, that's still pretty far off from its goal.
30 to 60,000 is how much they need?
Yeah, they've gotten a few different estimates and from local companies too that are just trying to, you know, help them out. So they're just really hoping the community can show up and show their support for them, and you'll hear from those seniors ahead at 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Ella.
Thank you, Ella.
More to come.
They're getting the track ready here at Armstrong Stadium in Bloomington. The 75th Little 500 is coming up in just a week, and we'll hear from racers with strong ties to the historic event.
Another IU football spring practice is in the books. Hear from Curt Cignetti and where he feels his team is at this point in time, coming up in 13 Sports.